uh, you sent me the code, and I remember you talking about this from SGF, I think, or something. It
Okay.
was mainframes, or
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
uh, and it certainly seems more refined from like the stuff you were talking about, the footage you were showing
Yeah.
for
Let
SGF
me get
thing.
this loaded up for you. Keep talking.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, it's a small little guy.
Yeah.
Uh, it's. I don't know what this genre is. It's very. It's Meat Boy like angry
Mm.
platformer. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really know. But it's just one of those platformers that is designed to kill you ad infinitum until you figure it out. Which is fine as long as the gameplay loop is fast, and this game does have that fast gameplay loop. Like if you
Yes.
mess up, it just you're like, oh, here you go, it's right to the because it's single screens. That's the most important part with this kind of thing for me, as far as I'm concerned. I like little single screen, what's effectively puzzles to solve.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
it's platforming. You know, it's puzzles disguised as platforming. Which I like that style of game. That's why Meat Boy really just kind of like was such a thing for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Just single screen. You get to take it all in. You look at it. You know what the mechanics are, and you just kind of have to figure put the pieces together. And sort of the conceptually, this game is like a corrupted computer, and
Mm-hmm.
you're just a little guy that has break-in containment essentially.
Like a
They're
little,
like,
little disc looking dude. Yeah.
yeah, you're a little diskette guy, and then even when you at the beginning,
Yeah.
they're like, hey man, what are you doing? This isn't where you're supposed to be. This isn't safe. What the hell are you doing? And then from there, you just sort of platform around the world. Like all the like, there's
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of like all the red stuff will kill you. Uh, some windows you can move around and manipulate using like I'm playing it on the Switch, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
right stick is your mouse, and you can move certain windows around, and you kind of are you're gonna start placing platforms in certain areas so you can like clear things, and you got a little double jump so you can do wall
Hmm.
jumps and stuff. And some of them have different interactive elements that will like
Okay.
send you in different directions and stuff. So you just got to kind of you can see in that window right there where they just
Yeah.
like the lines are showing you where it's gonna. Um, but one cool thing that's really cool about it is just that there's kind of stuff everywhere. Like you're sitting there and you see like that looks like it could be an exit or a secret, and
Hmm.
like you'll get there and you'll get to like a special section where it'll be like, oh, you gotta lead this dude to safety, and it has its own unique sort of like non-traditional gameplay
Mm-hmm.
element in there where it's like they are synced to your move. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like it's like that game that I reviewed a while ago, Ugly or something, where it's just
Right.
like when you like you're going in opposite directions, so you want to stop at a wall, and but they'll keep moving, and then you got to move the box around. So when you jump, they're gonna jump, but they're gonna jump through the danger zone, and even though you're not, and it's going to reset the whole thing. So you have to figure out like where the box needs to be. So when you jump, they jump to
Sure.
safety, and you cross paths or what. It does some really cool. It's not complicated in the traditional sense. It's just that the platforming's difficult, but not frustratingly so, and it's fast. It moves really well. It's really like the vibe. It's got good vibes to it when you're
Mm.
playing it, and there's like I said, there's all these like,
That's
little,
important for sure in these types of
yeah,
games. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and it has a really good aesthetic. Like the weird it doesn't feel like a Windows PC. It feels like an MSX or something like it's like a
Uh-huh.
British PC, like that kind of thing. Like you're playing on a ZX
Sure.
Spectrum or something as opposed to like a Windows 3.1 or something. But it manages to have its own unique aesthetic that is reminiscent of an aesthetic you and I are familiar with in terms of
Yeah.
old computers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's chill. Um, and it's very move forward. There's not a whole lot of going back to do stuff like I couldn't do this before, but now I
Mhm.
gotta go back. It's a lot of times it's just like if you missed it, you missed it. You're just barreling forward, man. Because
Sure.
there's a lot of secrets just kind of hidden everywhere, and just like like I said, there are points where it's just like, is that the next screen or is that the next screen? I'm going to go to that one, and then you go to that one, and it is the next screen, and you just kind of keep moving forward, and you've completely missed a special area or something. So it's small and short enough to where it benefits.
Cool.
Like, you can go back, just start a new game, just see the stuff you didn't see, and it's real. The only thing that I don't like the feeling of the platforming as much as I would like. It's really floaty. It doesn't feel like you have a lot of weight, which I mean makes sense. I mean, it is like you're a digital diskette. You're the save icon essentially in this world, so you wouldn't have any weight to you. But I kind of wish it had a little more weight to it. But it also helps when you're doing some of the more floaty, like if you see some of the things, there were like these little blue boxes with arrows that are pointing. So when you go, it's going to send you up. You can use your double jump to get you to the next one. It's going to send you wherever the arrow's pointing, and you can use your double jump again and stuff. And being floaty helps with that kind of stuff, especially getting over some what to your eye looks a little difficult. Of like, I'm not going to be able to clear that, but because your guy's so light, you can really get some momentum going. And there's zones where it's like, okay, when you enter this zone, you can't do your double jump, like the black stuff and things like that. But yeah, it's clean, it's fun, it's
Sweet.
it tickles that part of the brain that doesn't really get used very much in this type of game. I especially like just like entering a new area, because they never just throw you into danger. You sit there and you can see all the stuff in front of you, and you have interactive stuff, and you can just sort of like methodically, you're not on a timer or anything, in a traditional sense. I mean, there is speedrunning stuff that goes on and stuff, but like, you can just sort of methodically, like, okay, this needs to be here, 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 and you can start your run. It's like, well, that didn't work, and you just kind of start at the beginning at the screen again, and then you realize that sometimes you just have to do it while moving. Like, I have to be in the box and move it while doing, like, so yeah, I like it. It's got a good visual language to it. So
I like how it sort of remember from my early on previews of this thing, you start off by just like every other game in this. I'm not saying the genre, but like a lot of platformers with a lot of things going on. You start off by just kind of learning how to control, because you're jumping, but you're also, like you said, you're kind of controlling windows, you're controlling things on the screen in certain ways. But then from what the trailers and stuff, and none of this was actually in the preview things that I did a while back. Stuff starts to glitch out. Like things are starting to happen in this, and that's where
the boxes,
story is.
The boxes, the aesthetic, the sort of it's mostly visual storytelling in this thing. And the further in you get, the more sort of disjointed things get, but like the core mechanics stay the same, and it doesn't spend a lot of time holding your hand. It really just does use visual storytelling to let you know that like you're gonna figure out. Like, it's like the first Goomba in Super Mario Brothers. Like, I understand what you're telling me. If I let it touch me, I die. If I jump over it or on it, and that's what the entire game's going to be based around. And a lot of that is going on here. So it's not reinventing the genre. It's not really doing anything like crazy. It's just solid. It's functionally solid, and I think it's well worth your time. If like this kind, I guess, angry platformer, I don't know what the best way to call it is, but if this kind of if this type of platforming tickles you, then you're going to get a lot out of it. I did. I really liked it. I'm glad I reviewed this. I think it was
sweet,
well worth my time, and it's got some really cool, goofy computer shit going on. So I appreciate that.
Great.
Old style bits and goofs that play out sometimes.